My name is Miss Sara from the Wixom Public Library, and welcome to our YouTube tutorial on how to make your DIY faux taxidermy insects. So we are going to real quick go over the supplies that you should have received and the supplies that were not provided that you're going to need to do this craft. Okay? And as always, if you want to share your creations with us, please feel free to email us or use the hashtag Wixom Library DIY on social media so we can see your creations. You don't have to do that, but we'd love to see what you do. Okay, let's get started and go over what you have in your bag that you should have picked up at the library. So you're going to have a wooden plaque. You are going to have a piece of sandpaper that is pretty big, but you can cut it up if you want. Your supply list is going to say one paintbrush, but we found you're actually going to need, we provided a foam paintbrush and a small paintbrush, so there will actually be two in there. You are going to have a bug. It may not be the same bug, but you are going to have a big bug in there. You are going to have some gold paint and some black paint. This is acrylic paint, so make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't care about or that you're covered. It will come off of like some surfaces like tables, but it's not going to come out of your clothes, but it will come off of your skin. Okay, stuff you'll need if you want to cut up your sandpaper at all, you're going to need scissors. We are not providing anything to hang your taxidermy, so if you want to hang it anywhere, I would ask your grown-ups what they would prefer at your house. So you could use command strips or a hook, but that's up to what you're allowed to do at your house. And we also didn't provide anything to attach the insect. So I would suggest a hot glue gun, but you could also use super glue or tacky glue, or pretty much, yeah, you could just use glue to do that. Okay, and then also if you want to make sure it doesn't like chip or flake or anything, you can use a spray sealer on it, but we didn't provide that either, and you don't have to do that. Okay, let's get started and go over how to do this. Okay, so we're going to start off with our wooden plaque. So you got your sandpaper. These are pretty smooth to start, but some of them do have rough edges, and you just kind of want to get a good surface for your black paint. So I've already sanded this one down, but you're just going to use your sandpaper on your wooden plaque just to get it to be a nice surface for your paint. You're mostly focusing on the edges around here so that it is a good surface for your paint. If you don't know how to use sandpaper, just ask a grown-up for help, but you're just trying to get it nice and smooth. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is put on a coat of black paint. So you are going to have to do the front, wait for it to dry, and then flip it over to do the back. So you're just going to use your foam paintbrush, and you're just going to spread on a layer, and you're going to try to make it as smooth as possible, just so it looks really nice when you're hanging it. You're going to want to do at least one good coat around the whole thing. I did paint the back of mine as well, and I did put a second coat on the top of mine, but I only did one on the back just because you're not going to see that. So I'm just going to paint this. This is the really easy part just because this is just a nice, you're painting the whole thing black. So it's real easy, you're not having to paint anything special or weird. Okay. So I'm just getting all of the globs of paint because you don't want it to be bumpy when it dries. But this is why we sandpapered, because that way it looks nice on the sides too. This is where you're going to use your foam paintbrush. You can reuse the foam paintbrush, just wash it off. You'll just have to wait for it to dry a little bit. So this will dry pretty quickly. Acrylic paint dries pretty quick on wood, but before you do the back, you're going to want to wait for it to dry on the front. I would have some paper or a tablecloth or something to rest it on while it dries, just so you don't have to hold it, and so that the paint doesn't get everywhere. Okay, so you've got a nice coat there on the front. So we would just wait for this to dry and then flip it over, and we would paint the back. And then it will look nice like this, but you can do a second coat if you want. So I'm going to put this to the side. So I do have one that's already dry and ready to go. So we're going to keep that and use that. So then you have your bug. So we're gonna close up the black paint. So you're gonna use the gold paint for the bug. So the bug is gonna take a bit to do because the plastic doesn't want to hold the paint. So you can use a mix of foam paintbrush and little paintbrush. The little paintbrush is gonna come in real handy. The legs and antenna. Your bug may not look like mine, but you're still gonna probably want this. So you're just gonna I use the foam paintbrush for like the body part. And again, like with the plaque, this will take longer to dry because of the plastic. So what I would do is do a nice good coat over the top of it. And again, you can use the little brush for the legs and the details. You'll notice that it's going to kind of spread a little. You're going to need to do a few coats of the gold paint to really cover the bug. You're going to need to let it dry in between each coat. So see, you're just going to kind of cover the bug and only on one side. Then later you can flip it. You don't need to make the back look super nice because it's going to get glued onto the plaque, but you do want to make sure that you cover anything that you're going to see from the sides or the top. So I've already got a bug. That is done. So this did take, let me close up my gold paint. This did take a few coats. So you'll notice I didn't focus very much on the back. There's still some spots, but this doesn't matter because it's not going to be seen. But I was really careful to make sure that I got all the legs all gold, and I made sure to get the antenna all gold. So I had to use a small paintbrush on the sides and stuff. This did take a few coats and some drying time in between. So when you're done and everything is dry, make sure it's dry before you put it on the plaque because you don't want to get gold anywhere else on your plaque. It's only on the bug. So once it's dry, you're going to get your plaque out and whatever glue you're going to use. And this is, I would position it first. Just make sure you know where it's going. Make sure it looks good. Make sure you know where you want it. And then all we're going to do is make sure we use plenty of glue. Again, it's okay if you don't have hot glue. Just use something that'll hold the plastic on. So I'm just going to hold this down a little bit. Make sure it's where I want it before it dries. And if you want, you could try to glue the legs down too, but I think it looks pretty cool that they're just kind of sticking up and it looks like a real bug. Okay, so now we're just going to pull this off. So now you'll have your insect taxidermy, and you can feel free to put command strips or a hook or anything on the back. And if you notice any spots that need to get touched up with black, you can do that too before you hang it. I hope you enjoy your craft. As always, let us know if you have any questions or if any supplies were missing, and let us know how you liked it. Thanks, bye.